week on My Classic Car. We'll check out some unique rods and the even more unique overhead cam engines that power them. This is what can happen when a mad inventor has too much time on his hands. Plus, we'll look at wiring harness options for your ride.
Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Thanks for tuning into My Classic Car, home of the certified car nut. Well, this week I'm in Escondido, California at the home of Pete Aardema. Now, Pete is known for doing some pretty strange things to engines, like marrying overhead cam Porsche heads to big block Chevys. He also builds some pretty radical street rods, too. Now, Pete doesn't consider himself an inventor. I guess he's more of a mad tinkerer. So let's go down in the shop and look inside the mind of someone who'd do something like this. Hey Pete, how you doing, man?
Dennis.
So this is it, huh?
This is it.
This is the Mad Hatter's workshop.
Right.
Well, these are pretty insane looking engines. Take me through how the insanity started. Where'd it start, over here?
Yeah, we started with this one about 20 years ago. I always wanted to build a multi-valve, multi-cam engine. Four valve.
Why?
Horsepower, performance, etc.
They rev higher. You just always wanted to do it.
Right.
Okay.
And this was before Chevrolet did their ZR1. So we bought some Fiero heads from Cosworth, which is a Fiero's half of a Chevrolet V8. And we machined the heads from scratch. And we made the cams, made the didn't make the lifters, but we got motorcycle lifters, ordered the block custom built, made the front cover for the chain and all that stuff, tensioners. We ran it on a carburetor. I lost interest in it.
Well, obviously you gained it back. So how did you went from here to somewhere else?
Right. Once we did that, we said, oh, we could put a cam on a stock Chevrolet.
Okay.
Let's make an overhead cam Chevrolet. So we took a small block Chevrolet, bolted this cam box right on top of the head using the rocker studs, made a cam, made two cams actually, put a belt on it, and we've built 50 of them so far.
All right, now the original camshaft is still down in there.
Right.
But there's no push rods anymore.
No. Push rods in the bench.
They're on the bench.
Right. Trash.
And the casings, the cylinders they go through, the shafts they go through, what are they? They're just...
The cam is still in there to turn the oil pump in the distributor.
Right.
The push rods are gone. There's a whole oil line from the lifter, rear lifter hole, up into the cam box for lubrication.
Okay. All right, so you're at least using the passage.
Right.
Well, so you went from 50 of these, and that sure looks like a Hemi.
Well, it is a Hemi. It's a Chevy Hemi.
Hemi.
I had a boat customer wanted an alcohol burning Chevy Hemi, so we put the overhead cam on the Aries. They're Aries heads made in LA, and it's much like the '64 single overhead cam Ford.
This one over here looks like a work in progress.
This is another brilliant idea I had.
If you do say so yourself.
It's an FE Ford, 394 27 Ford, Cobra guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a cheapy overhead cam Ford. And I use the stock cam, the stock push rod cam, I grind every other lobe off. Put a belt on it, much like the Chevy. And this one's about half done.
Wow. All in due time, right?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you mess around with bikes, too.
Yeah, it's another deal. But I got a Bonneville. Bonneville engine.
All right, let's look at the Bonneville engine.
Coming up, more with Mad Tinkerer Pete Aardema. But first, we'll look at wiring harnesses for your ride. My Classic Car is brought to you by Grundy Worldwide Collector Car Insurance.
Well, I got Rick Schmidt from National Parts Depot with me today, and let me tell you, we're wired. Or we're going to get wired.
We're going to talk about wiring.
We'll talk about wiring. That works for me. Well, wiring is one of the more frustrating things in a restoration sometimes.
Yes, it really is. Wiring, the whole electrical system seems to be the one part of the car that most restorers really feel like they're in the dark as far as their breadth and depth of knowledge in that.
And sometimes you are in the dark when it comes to wiring.
Yes, most at car shows, most people say, well, I'm no electrician. So.
Right. And it can be very frustrating to find that one short, wherever it is.
Extremely frustrating, because as you see in these wires, they're all wrapped up tight, they're all bundled together, they're extremely complex, and when you're looking for a needle in a haystack, you can really tear up all your original wiring trying to find where your problem is.
So you may as well, instead of tracing that thing down, you can actually replace entire harnesses, right?
You can replace entire harnesses, and the beauty of it is you're replacing it with correct, show-ready replacement materials. It's got the right colors, it's got the right connectors, it's
all of it.
Plug and play.
Now this, everything here is for one car, right?
Yes, what I got out here for illustrative purposes was just all of the wiring that would go into a 1970 Chevelle SS 396.
That's a lot of wiring.
It's a lot of wiring. Now, remember, we've got wiring from stem to stern for all of the vehicles that we sell parts for practically, be it a Firebird, Camaro, Chevelle, Mustang, Ford truck, Thunderbird. We're heavy on wiring, but
so are the cars.
Yes.
As you can see. So this is kind of a stem to stern thing. Let's start up here. This is a harness for what?
That is the front light harness. It's one of the largest harnesses in the car, and then basically it's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
That is what goes from your firewall out to the front lights.
But it's going to have all the proper connectors, right?
Yes, all the proper connectors,
proper colors,
proper colors, the right boots, the right ground straps. Just everything's there, ready to go. Yes.
Plug it in and go. How about next?
What we're looking at there is the engine harness. That's the one that comes out across the intake manifold and goes to the coil and takes care of providing power to the motor itself.
Now, is this electrical tape wrapped, or what?
People tend to use electrical tape when they're rewrapping wire, but actual wire wrap is not like electrical tape. It's a stretch and stick, kind of like a saran wrap operation.
Yeah. All right, now this is for?
This is for the air conditioning if your car is so equipped. That's the air conditioning harness for a 1970 Chevelle.
And it has yet another material, which would be correct, right?
Yes, that is the correct material for the air conditioning harness. Again, the difference in the wrappings has to do with how durable that wrapping needs to be.
And the environment it's going to be exposed
to. And the environment it's going to be into, the amount of heat and the amount of chafing that it's going to have to endure.
Now, but this is the big one,
This
right?
is the big daddy, and this is the source of an awful lot of heartache for people trying to because when you're looking for a short underneath your dash, you're usually on your back with a flashlight in your teeth, and it's not a pretty sight.
Not a pretty sight.
So when you start having an awful lot of electrical gremlins going on under your dash, best just to tear that all out of there and replace it with a brand new. It goes all the way from the fuse box out. Yes.
And all correct, all factory.
All correct, all factory, brand new.
How about this little guy?
This little guy is if you've got a factory console, this is the console harness.
Okay.
And we even sell the neutral safety switch that goes in with that as well for your shifter.
What one's this?
This is the intermediate harness. This is where all the power basically gets to the back of the car. It's in a very heavy fabric style wrap, so that it's much,
right?
yes, much more chafe resistant as well.
We got lights.
We've got lights. That's the trunk harness. That's where you plug in your tail lights and your running lights, and license plate light. That's the end of the car right there.
So these are the big major harnesses, multi-wired and stuff, but then there's a lot of little fitments, a lot of little connectors that connect the various pieces.
Right,
like,
these are the big pieces of the puzzle, and then we've got all the small pieces of the puzzles.
So for instance, this is a fuel tank sender.
Yes, that's the lead wire that goes to the fuel tank sender.
A lot of other guys, a courtesy light harness, dome light, you've got them all.
Right, we've got all the tributary harnesses that run off of these main harnesses to complete the rest of the wiring in your car.
And it's nice. You take a lot of the mystery out of it, but sometimes you still need to know what wires what. And you guys also supply the wiring diagrams,
yes,
right?
Yes, and they're affordable. They're $5 a piece.
So this is the 70 Chevelle right here.
That's the 70 Chevelle wiring diagram.
This tells me what all this is.
Yes, yes. Basically, it tells you where it is, where it's going, and how much current's supposed to be going through it.
And you got it for all sorts of cars: 68
yes.
Camaro, 69. Excellent. Well, there's really no need to put up with those shorts anymore if you can replace an entire
Absolutely not, and there's no need to not do it right, because all the right stuff is available, it's affordable, and if you're going to be in there and you're going to be sweating it, you might as well do it right.
Well, hey, if you want to learn anything more about rewiring your car with parts from National Parts Depot, log on to myclassiccar.com. You know that under the dash flashlight in the mouth? I've been there.
Eastwood.com. Unique tools, coatings, supplies, and solutions for all your restoration needs. Next, we'll check out more of Pete Aardema's wild creations.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. Okay, so this one's going to Bonneville, eh?
Yeah, this is our D-motor, 300 cubic inch, small block Chevrolet, overhead cam.
What are you trying to get out of this for horsepower?
We want Over 2 per inch, 600 horsepower out of this.
600 horsepower. Oh, you gotta love that. So what all have you done? You made the cam, didn't you?
Made the cams. These are the best GM heads made up until the time we got them. There are no push rods here anymore, and that allowed us to enlarge the ports.
So it can breathe.
Right.
And we got the same thing under here, basically?
We've got the same thing. We're mocking this up now. It's not done yet. We're not using adjusting screws. We're using lash caps. We grind the lash cap to the proper thickness to get the adjustment. This cam will turn backwards through a gear drive off the front of the engine, off a boat, so that they attack the rockers in the same manner. Both rockers hit the cam in the same way.
Pretty cool. Now you got a land speed record car,
We got
right?
a Model A with a record.
Well, let's go look at it.
Okay.
Well, this is a mean-looking little machine, Pete. What do we have here?
This is a Model A Bonneville car. It belongs to Doug Ayers, one of the oldest salt cars, Bonneville cars still running today.
It doesn't look much like a Model A.
Well, the rules say Model A block.
Okay, so it's a Model A block, but you've done a little bit of work on it.
That's about the only thing that's Model A. It's got 2 Subaru heads welded together, front to back, with new Snyder cams, Crower crank, Crower rods, J&E pistons.
4 valve per?
4 valves, twin cam.
So are those like WRX heads?
They're WRX heads, yes.
Ooh, those are mean machines to begin with. So.
Right. They're good heads. The best head you can get, it's a 2-cylinder head, and the Model A is 2 and 2 side by side with a big gap in the middle.
So that's why you had to mate them, right?
Right.
So what did it do on the dry lakes?
At El Mirage, on our very first run, it went 150, the record. We got the record by 2 miles an hour. We missed the record at Bonneville last year, but we're going to go back this year for it.
Go after
Missed it by a mile an hour.
Wow.
Burn a valve.
Well, I mean, does it run? Can you fire it up?
Sure.
I
think it'll start.
It looks pretty strong. Wow. Wow. Well, now, Pete, I know you've got cars with bodies on them. I've seen them. What do you say we go look at those?
Okay, sure, let's go.
You know you're insane, right? You know you're completely insane.
No, it's everyday stuff.
Need parts for your rod, custom, or classic? Then check out this week's Classic Car Marketplace.
For superior chrome plating, call Paul's Chrome Plating. They'll go that extra mile to achieve flawless show quality results on all your chrome parts. Paul specializes in chrome plating pot metal as well as steel, aluminum, and plastic parts. Try Paul's Chrome Plating today for all your chroming needs. Call 800-245-8679 or visit us online at paulschrome.com. If you're restoring a classic GM car or truck, Classic Industries has what you need. They have the largest selection of original and reproduction parts and accessories in the business. Just call 888-GM-CATALOG to get a catalog, or go online to classicindustries.com and start shopping today. Find out why Classic Industries is America's first choice in GM restoration. LMC Truck has a wide variety of parts and accessories for Chevy, GMC, Dodge Ram, and Ford trucks. Order your free catalog today by calling 1-800-715-8123. Be sure to specify your year, make, and model, or shop online at lmctruck.com. LMC Truck has the right part at the right price, right now. Still ahead, we'll look at more of Pete Aardema's overhead cam inventions.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. Pete, let's start here with your primer toy. What do we got here? A 34 Ford, but not stock.
No, it's a big block Chevy block that I ordered from Nick Aries, and I put the Porsche heads on it, 928 Porsche heads. And what Nick did for me, he moved the bore centers in 30 thousandths, the difference between Porsche and Chevrolet. And then he put the Porsche bolt pattern in the block, so it was a bolt together deal. It's simple.
Unbelievable. Now that's got to be easier than a lot of your other projects in the past.
Yeah, well, I've done a few belt drives on the other engines, the overhead cam engine, so it's fairly easy.
That's great.
It's got a 427 crank in it, scat rods, and Chevy pistons.
It's an aluminum block?
Yes, it's all aluminum. The heads, block, everything's aluminum.
It looks really mean. What kind of power does this baby put out?
It makes 550 pounds of torque at 2,500 and about 500 horsepower.
And what's the running gear?
It's I found a 2000 Corvette transaxle, 6-speed, standard shift, and I mounted it in the rear. I narrowed it 5 inches
So it's a C5 Corvette?
Right.
Wow.
All new Corvette.
And so you had to take her down 5 inches.
Right. The Corvettes are so wide and the 34 so narrow.
Yeah, you'd have the wheels
Sticking out. So then when I ordered the body from Steve's Restoration, I ordered this panel 1.5 inches wider right in here.
Oh, so you still had to grow the body.
Right, to get the tires under the
Even after taking the rear end down 5 inches, you still had to bring the body out. Wow.
Right.
And of course, you know, because the trans and everything, this is your shift linkage here?
Right.
Oh, man. Can you fire her up?
Sure.
Oh, nice. Starts right up. Some serious growl. Oh, man. This thing's got to be a ball.
It is. It's a ball to drive.
Well, shut her down here. Now, this is your primer toy. You can take this out. You can beat it. You can do burnouts and donuts and have a great time. But let's go over and look at the one that you finished a little more finely.
Sure.
Stay close. We'll check out more of Pete Aardema's mad inventions. Brought to you by Grundy Worldwide Collector Car Insurance. And by U-Coat It, the official floor coating of Eastwood Garage.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. Pretty sweet little 37 here, Pete.
Thank you, Dennis.
Man, now we know from earlier that you moved the engine from the front to the back. But can we look under the hood anyway?
Sure.
I just feel like I have to look under the hood. But there's not much to see, is there?
No, we got a radiator, a 20-gallon gas tank, dual brake cylinders. The battery sits right behind the radiator.
Now this has got to freak people out when you're at a show or something like that, and you open this up, and I mean, you could put a cooler in there, I guess.
Yeah, cosmetic case.
Cosmetic case, yeah. Well, close her back up. Now, you were telling me that you built this actually as a removable hardtop so you could get to the engine more easily, right?
Right.
Can we pull it off?
Sure.
All right, I'll go on the other side. Now, is this a fiberglass top or?
No, this is the original
This is the original steel top. You just cut it and. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not heavier.
It's original steel top.
Steel
that came with the car.
Ah, great. Love the interior.
Thank you.
Very nice. Who did that?
Rod Lingard, a friend we met in Australia, came over and spent 3 months with us and did this here at the house. Got aluminum dash that I made, covered it with leather, Lexus seats. It's got a flat floor.
And because you were able to move the engine to the back,
right? No transmission hump. The steering column is up off the ground.
Those are both things that are kind of Rodder nemesis, aren't they? You know, the hump and then the steering column going right down there.
Right, and that's one of the reasons I put the engine back, to give myself more room up front. Plus, I love tinkering and
and that's pretty obvious. Now, this little back seat here is just your spare? Or?
Yeah, that's a beer cooler or a granny seat.
And this is
that's the engine hatch. It's got vents on the side, one on this side.
Yeah, what are those?
This one sucks air into the engine compartment.
Yeah.
And the other one on the right sucks air into the carburetor.
So it sucks air in, and what's this little guy?
This pops open when I start it up.
Oh, that's nice. And what does that actually do?
That lets the air out of the engine compartment.
And then when you turn it off, she goes back down. Isn't that cool? Gosh, let's look at that engine.
Okay.
Which has us walking this direction. It's hard to get used to this, Pete.
I'm used to it, Dennis.
Wow. Okay, take me through it. What do we got?
Okay, it's aluminum Donovan small block with one of my overhead cam kits on it.
And then how about what's the transmission?
It's a Tornado transmission with a homemade transfer case we made down in the shop. The end of the springs, we made our own A-arms. It's got all stainless steel exhaust, air conditioning.
What you've got is basically a mid-engine 37. Is that right?
Right.
Now, what caused? I mean, did you just dream this up? Where did this come from?
I love tinkering. That's obvious. And I wanted a good transmission which would handle some horsepower so I could go fast. And this is what I came up with.
Do you work off drawings, or you just go to the shop and whip stuff up?
Well, it all starts from the wheels and goes backwards. So once you establish the wheel position, then it's easy.
Everything else just rolls, huh?
Right.
Both roadworthy.
Right, very roadworthy.
Streetable.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say we go out and do some road work?
Yeah, let's go.
Now, I tell you, that one doesn't have windshield. It's going to mess up my mustache. How about I do this one?
You dig the red one.
All right, close her up.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Oh, beautiful. So you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's ride. My first mid-engine 37. This car's great, but Pete's got the one that's fun. Primered, take it out, kick it, have a good time. That's what it's all about. You gotta admit, he builds some pretty mean machines. Hey man, how fast is that thing? You just can't beat this. I think I can take him on the inside. Oh, maybe not. That works. Of course, I'll behave myself. Next week, we'll check out an incredible gathering of rods and customs at the James Dean Run in Fairmount, Indiana. There's some serious lead in some of these sleds. Plus, we'll look at sill plate and other finishing trim options for your ride. So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring.
Attention My Classic Car fans, go online now to check out our latest selection of DVDs. Order the My Classic Car Legendary Chevys. It includes the Corvette, 409, the Amazing Cheetah, and many more, only $19.95. Or order the legendary Fords or Mopars or GM Special Vehicles. Just can't get enough My Classic Car? Now you can get all 26 episodes from the 2006 season in one DVD set.